The following is a presentation of Emory Uno Division 2. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Emory Uno Jazz July, final tournament of the regular season for Division 2 on the YouTube channel. Bit of a surprise here, as going to be starting the regional finals a little bit earlier due to some scheduling conflicts here, but going a little bit out of order. We still have our last round of 16 match later tonight off stream with Sky and Mazuat, but going a little out of order here due to a very difficult lineup of schedules here, but it's either now or never this match happens. So the option we're gonna be going with is now. So it's gonna be number 7 AiCoVT to get on number 9 Nightwalker in the Saxophone regional final here. Winner of this moves on to the final four. And for AiCo, looking to get redemption after losing in this round in February. As for Nightwalker, second time in the regional final, but the other time he made it was in this tournament in 2024, where he went on to win. So we'll see if tournament 4 can be his magic spot, or if this will be where the road ends for Nightwalker, as he comes into this match with 4 wins, and with how the playoff has been shifting out. This is going to be one where it's going to be a must-win for him to at least put himself in a much better spot going into Selection Sunday. So we'll see who ends up getting it done. But looking at the bracket here for both players, their journey to make it to this point. For AiCo, again, he's was on stream in the last round here, went up against Gabriel, got the win 4-3 in a very close matchup, but got the job done over a player who was in a very similar spot as him going into that matchup. And then for the other two matches in the Triad 32 and Swing 64, got the win over Tim, big win there to boost himself further, and then got the win over Danny in the Swing 64 to start the tournament out. And I mean, for AiCo, it's not really been any dominant matches won, but he has been winning these matches, which is the important thing at the end of the day. So he's been doing that, and he finds himself in his second regional final of the season. Going to Nightwalker, though, his path has been quite the peculiar one here. Took out Dan 4-3 in a close match, ended up getting the win there. Had a DQ loss there in that game. Was able to overcome that, and then beat Tommy in a real back and forth matchup in the Triad 32. Took down Tommy, who took down Rajon in the prior round, the 16-over-1 upset. And then the syncopated 16. Very brief match there, but Nightwalker defeating YOLO 4-2 in that one to move on into the regional finals to face off against AiCo, which, I mean, looking at his bracket path so far, is definitely going to be his toughest challenge yet. So we'll see if he'll be able to overcome it or not, but hopefully this should be a good match here. So we're going to get things rolling here. Going into the stream here, we had like 5 minutes to get people for this, but thankfully we did find someone for ref, and also some commentary as well if they'd like. Lavina will be refing, and maybe providing some input from time to time here, but yeah, we'll go to our players here, since we do need to kind of keep this at a upbeat pace, since we don't have infinite time here. But AiCo, gonna start with you. You had the big win over Gabriel in the last round. You go up against Nightwalker, who is the last tournament, who was the only person left who has won a tournament in the past, that being all the way back in 2024. But just kind of your immediate thoughts here, your run to this point, what it's kind of meant for you, especially coming into this tournament, needing to have a good showing here, and heading into this match, kind of how are you feeling as you have another chance to try to make the Final Four after coming up a bit short in Tournament 1?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of emotions going into this, very happy to be here at all, but definitely, excited to take on a tough opponent like Knight here with, such history, especially in T4 here in D2. But, a lot of nerves that come with that as well. But, at the end of the day, I'm just hoping to play my best game and really push on to, get that Final Four spot the first time, as well as, just keep pushing to secure that good regular season score line there for the playoffs. So, yeah.
Jerry speaking. Mic not
I
picking
always
up. Right
forget. I always forget to unmute. But yeah, okay. Gonna get things started here, but for Knight's quick comments here. For his thoughts. Asked him if anything had changed since the last time he made the regional final, which was 2 years ago in the tournament he won. And now for him, he said, "Not, I don't know honestly whether anything's changed or not, but I'll try my best." Yeah, so keeping it pretty brief here. I know we have a good amount of people watching this because I think Lavina sent this to a server. Prior, so I think there's going to be a good amount of people watching this for the first time. So if you're new here, welcome. Going to be best of 9, one power play, and for power play that'll be something I'll quickly explain. Just something that allows you to get an extra turn. Probably we'll see that at some point in the series, but we'll get things rolling here. Aiko is the higher seed, so he picks 11, and we are underway with the green 4 to kick off this series. Just trying to make sure everything is working. And okay, I need to refresh the scoreboard. And so, okay, so the scoreboard is having some slight issues. Let me try to fix that. So give me 1 second. Is Aiko gonna immediately switch off the starting color here? Let's try again. And it's still bleeding out. That's not good. Alright. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Not sure what happened there. Apologies, but got it working. We have a Ditto here on the green 7. I believe we're about a minute in on this one. Let me check. Ooh, we got a huge run from Aiko here. Going to be ultimately a. Okay, so that's ultimate. It's going to be a plus 12 in a 5-card run. So that's going to throw a handful of cards here. Knight already up to 20 cards, and Aiko down to 2. I'm just going to quickly check this for the time. Yeah, okay, not too far off. Should be right around there, but yeah, not gonna have to make up some ground early here, as not quite the start he was hoping for here, but with the amount of cards handed to him, has a good chance to have some ammo to counter back, but we'll see what he does. And I think for Knight, just taking a second to regroup, look at the hand. I mean, he just had 12, now he just has 12 additional cards to work through on this one. And yeah, okay, so there's going to be a +2 thrown in there, so not throwing too much here, but not making it where it's a straight shot for Aiko. Yeah, we'll have to see what Knight does from this point on. Is gonna keep it red. Aiko gonna draw here, so that's what Knight was looking for. Gonna look to take advantage here. Okay, no. Actually gonna switch it to blue, which will free up Aiko again, so we'll see. I mean, sometimes these switches are to open up more ammo cards. Sometimes it's just kind of to play through the table. I think Knight's just going to play through the table, and that's not going to be a switch that Knight wanted to see there. Going to be a switch into green. Again, I just need to take a second to think through this here. Yeah, there could also be a chance where Knight may not have gotten a lot off that plus 12 there, and that could make things a little bit harder to bring this back. Could also be where he got ammo, but maybe doesn't want to use it right away. Yeah, and okay, so has the plus 4 there, gonna use it there to go back into blue. That's kind of the interesting thing when you have so many cards there at that point, because um, ultimately you're just kind of deciding between whether you want to just go for the safe route and use up the ammo but not have that later on, or try to use up the numbers and force draws out of the opponent through self draws and be able to save that ammo for a run to the end. So Knight throwing the plus 4, AiCo going to respond with a plus 2, so not necessarily allowing Knight to get away with that scot-free. But yeah, now it's 4-15 here. Knight's still quite a bit away here. Got another switch here in the yellow. AiCo going to be able to play it. And another switch, so Nightwalker looking for a little bit of light switching here, but right now AiCo has been able to play through it. And once again, AiCoVT is down to 2 cards. Now what does Knight do? Does Knight have any more ammo? Does another plus 4 come out if he has it? Does he go for another switch? We shall see. Because, I mean, the interesting thing for Knight here is last 3 turns, AiCo has been able to play on 3 different colors, so I'm not sure if that's going to change how he's going to think this one through. Going to stay with red, and that's going to be the right decision. AiCo with no more red. Yeah, Knight just, it's been a bit of an interesting path for Knight to take so far in this game. Switched the colors a few times, stayed on it at points, but ultimately now it's working out. But AiCo with a top deck red reverse, but it's just going to leave that one open. We'll see if Knight is going to try to take advantage of that, or is it just going to shut the door. Yeah, okay, so Knight is going to take advantage of it. Actually gets rid of a blue reverse also and switches in the yellow. That does free up AiCoVT though, so AiCo down to 2 again, but Knight is closer. Down to 7 now. Yeah, again, this is going to be decision time again for Knight because it's been a few times that AiCo gets down to 2 cards and Knight just kind of takes a minute to compose his thoughts, think what the best move's going to be here.
Really pleasantly surprised by how Nightwalker is handling this situation, considering I've looked through the database of MRE Uno, and Nightwalker actually does not appear anywhere in league records. No comebacks, no long or short games, just generally very consistent player. So the fact that he's dealing with this massive deficit of cards this efficiently and taking his time and looking through the options, I'm very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, well, another plus 4 here, and it's tied up now with Nightwalker taking the slight lead here, and it's going to be we're both running down to the finish. Whether for AiCo, if they're going to be reconsidering that plus 12 from earlier or not, as double play there from Knight, and now Knight is the one down to 2 cards. Can Knight get us to the first Uno of the game? Yes, he does with the wild red. Eiko needs to switch the color or this will be game. And or +2. I'm not actually sure if there's any +2s left on red. There are not, so. Alright, let's see if Eiko has an option to block this or if this will be game 1 going to night. Eiko actually taking a little bit with this one, so I'm not necessarily sure if this is game per se, but maybe not an ideal spot for Eiko to be in potentially. May be able to save it, but also put himself in a bad spot here, so we'll see. Cannot call power play when the opponent's at Uno. And that'll be it. So it double wild there, so actually would not have mattered, and it did seem like the +12 helped a little bit there, but in the end, Nightwalker going to take it 1-0 and get the 20 card comeback there, so a good start for Knight here as he goes up 1-0. So, again, for Knight, since they're not in VC, gonna have to just type out their thoughts there, but I didn't need the pivot yellow and deal with that for the +12. Planked on it wouldn't happened. Yeah, I mean, I think Aiko kind of just elaborated their immediate thoughts with that one. So yeah, Lavina, any comments from that game?
I mean, yeah, my comments mostly came midway, but I mean, honestly, just pretty confident that we're heading for a relatively good game of Uno, considering Aiko is noticing what could have potentially been a mistake as the process was going, and Knight coming into this very calm and ultimately taking the first game. Considering this is a best of 9 and they'll only get better as they warm up, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Nothing really too crazy.
All right, well, we'll see what Nightwalker says and then get game 2 started. Aiko gonna go down to 7, the OG 7. So for the game for the green 2 switch from Knight was sort of referring to. Okay. Yeah. I do see that.
Mm, yeah, going across for the G2 switch.
Had the yellow but blanked and stuck the green early. Yeah, we could scroll back up to that. There. And then just ran it there.
Right. I think I'm safe to do this.
Yep, should be good. +12 gave me a +4
Uh,
and wild plus number cards and 2 reverses. I guess it felt hard, but I tried as best I could. So yeah, I would say
some
the
ammo,
plus.
but not decisive.
Yeah, I mean the wild definitely did come out there to help at the end because double wild to finish kind of left Aiko in a bad spot, especially with so few cards. But I think we're going to get start game 2 here. We'll see if
Right.
Knight makes it 2-0 or if we get a 1-1 series heading into game 3. Going to start with the L6.
Speaking of that, taking game 2 or like a defend, I don't know. Personally, I'm a big hater of the homestand, my homestand being first. I don't know about you, Dreamman, but it feels like if the deficit starts creeping in, if you go down 0-2 and then it's your opponent's pick, it's quite a dreadful situation. At least this is a first of 5 or best of 9 rather, so there is time to recover even if the worst comes to pass.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of just depends on the game situation, because I mean, if you're down 2-0 but then win game 3, that could just be where the away side is just seemingly having the better momentum, so that's not the worst situation to be in, especially if it's like mid-game, but um yeah, well, Aiko did a 3-card run in the blue and had no more blue, so I was hoping for that quick switch where he just got right there on green, but now both players are down 3 cards, so this is looking to be a really quick game here. If someone has the lineup, which Knight may have with the type. No, okay, does not. Just has a Ditto. And Aiko got to bring it down 1 to the green 1, so both are down to 2. And yeah, there you go. That'll do it. Quick one there. Only 100 seconds in that game, and it's gonna be 2-0 Nightwalker early on. And I believe that ends up being a plan A for Knight there. Um, Ironically, or I guess unfortunately for Aiko, kind of played right into his hand, to Knight's hand there with the colors. So yeah, there's not really a whole lot to take from that game. Just plan A run Aiko with a few unfortunate switches there, but that's kind of hard to read, especially on a lower card start like that where you don't really have a lot of info to gather from the game. So all right, gonna be 2-0 here. For Aiko, gonna be looking to try to get game 3 here because does not want to go down 3-0. Good to go 9 for
Um,
game 3 from Knight.
good to go.
Yeah, good go.
Okay.
Yeah, usually for those quick games, there's not a whole lot you can ask for the players on that, but
Fair enough.
uh,
I mean, yeah, in general, it was just you don't know that you're lining up your hand perfectly for your opponent, and also eco switching to the green. It's just unfortunate. I mean, he had the lineup, so it's the most obvious bait ever, sort of.
all right. Well, Aiko going a bit more of aggressive start here, gonna throw the +2 to throw Knight back, but we do stay red.
I'll be certain if this is a tactic switch or from Echo, or if he just has a lot of ammo. Could be either. If it's a tactic switch, it could be, not using all your ammo at once in like a single turn, but spacing it out, making sure that he's staying ahead rather than what happened in game 1. If so, I like it, but obviously this drawing doesn't fill me with much confidence.
Well, I mean
For
that's
us,
kind of a I was gonna say that was kind of interesting because Aiko actually used the wild to go in the green, but only had 1 card, had the draw, but then seemed to have gone to top deck on red, so may have no, because it's gonna have to draw again. So I think Aiko was hoping for Knight to kind of just play into his hand, and that just did not seem to happen there. So not necessarily the spot Aiko wants to find himself in here. We'll see if that ends up being a bit of a miscalculation there as okay, I think it's supposed to be a yellow 7. Yeah, there we go. We do get another switch that might free up Aiko again, but you know.
very daring switch into yellow from Nightwalker, at least in my opinion. I mean, considering your opponent's been iced out on both green and red prior, seems very ballsy to go into one of the other two colors right now.
Yeah, I think Knight's been doing that for portions of this game so far. I mean, really game 1, where you have the draw available on the one color, and then it's just not gonna you're just gonna keep going with it, even if it's not the right read at the moment, and just like that, the game's over. And I think I see why Aiko was hoping to just go with the wild green and get a quick switch there, because he just had that lineup on the yellow and blue, and was able to get it done there. So Aiko gets one back on the board here, going to be 2-1. That's the blue yellow line. And yeah, back on the board here. So for Knight, going to go 1 up here for game 4. I mean, Aiko, any quick thoughts getting that win there? Because 3-0 definitely would have been disastrous there, but the 2-1 scored line definitely feels a lot better there and definitely put some life into the series once again. Always good to bounce back. Got to keep pushing it. Got to keep pushing though. All right. All right, we'll go to game 4 here.
Good start.
And blue 2 is where we start. So, yeah, I mean, game 1 kind of went by with more of an, I guess, a longer pace game, but I think the series is starting to pick up here with a more quicker pace. So we'll see if that continues on. But knight with the immediate switch off blue goes in the red. And now we'll see where this goes from here, and another switch from knight, this time in the green. See if knight starts light switching again. Did that a little bit in game 1. Alright, not quite here. Gonna stay with green. Alright, that will be where we're situated for now, and Aiko is out on green. Not much on that, not much to run with that there, and knight gonna again finds the draw from Aiko and is going to switch the color once again. So for knight, he is not really paying too much mind to whatever the opponent's doing in terms of the draws. So he's just going with whatever he feels right for the switches. So we'll see how that plays out in this game. But knight with the lead at the moment. Doing a big run here. I think
Ooh.
a slight error. Yeah, because there's
Wait.
only one ampersand there. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, just needs to retype that. He'll be all right.
Wait, but why did it not take the blue skip that though? That's
It might have been just the connection with the ampersand because it read it as one command.
yeah, it might take it as yeah. Makes sense.
Well, again, that's not really a costly mistake there, but knight going down to 2 and Aiko having none of that, gonna make it a +6 there in the yellow. And that's gonna reset things a little bit here, but we'll see if Aiko can do anything on this yellow, because last time Aiko went for a big +2 chain, ultimately was pretty much dried out on that color there soon after. So we'll see if he keeps the yellow going or if knight actually goes for a quick switch here.
You know, the average Uno player does a lot of combos of power cards into like one of their last like remaining numbers. I would personally assume previous Nightwalker play to be. So you know, maybe a +6 for Mako going into another color. If Nightwalker picks another blue, could be troublesome, but we don't know that. So um, very up in the air. I feel like the whole focal point of this match so far has been, is this switch safe or is this switch going to kill me?
Knight having a slight issue here, so I'm gonna try to reload Discord. While we're waiting, it just kind of gives us a good time to take a look at the stats so far. Still a lot of Uno to be played here, but I am noticing immediately a lot of +2s going for Aiko's favor here. 8-3 there, but no +4s to be played at the moment. So that gets his cards working and back underway here with the yellow one. So we'll see if any of those ammo trends continue on or if they change as we go along, but I'm going to keep running with the yellow here for the time being. And just as I say that, we go in the red. So that did not last too long there. We'll see if Aiko has any red to play. Plenty of, well, not plenty of red, but one red, and gets it immediately back into yellow.
Ooh, went for a chain of 5, which doesn't fit into the command. So I had to go for the Uno as a separate message. Knight had a golden opportunity there if he was paying attention.
Ooh, has a knight with a wild there, and that's gonna force the draw from Aiko. So blocks that one out, and we'll see what knight does now. With the red, which seems to be the preferred color at the moment and throws a +2 on top of it.
Currently advantage going back tonight. But no, Aiko actually does take back the initiative with the double play.
Yeah, not sure if one of those was from the immediate draw or if it was the +2, but not gonna have any more red. Can I get the Uno here? Make it 3-1 maybe. And gonna do it with another +4,
Wow.
so gonna be 3-1 here. And Knight gets it done in game 4 in a moderately paced game, 5 minutes or so. But able to get the victory there on that one. I'm gonna say overdue for the +4 that game. Yeah, so Aiko was feeling a little bit antsy with that one, but in the end it does come, and that's gonna be now 3-0 in the +4s here. So Aiko's still looking for their first, but Aiko also gonna look to full send it in game 5. Yeah, not the ideal spot for AiCoVT to be in at the moment, but see how this goes. Had a path, but got put in the yellow too early and got stuck with a blue 3. So, I mean, that blue 3 ultimately did Aiko in there.
Anything for Knight, or you want me to start?
Not really, no. I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Alright. Got the full send here for game 5. Green reverse. Knight wins this. He gets the match point. Aiko looking to prevent that. Think close. Full send. Full send give.
Yeah.
Alright. Aiko gonna stay with green to start things off. Again, he'll have to call for the next 2 games, so looking to take advantage and tie this up at 3-3. Alright, gonna have a double play there on the green. Take the outright lead. We'll see if he likes this green or if he's gonna want a switch soon. Knight's fine with the green for now. And Aiko is gonna switch, so goes into yellow now. Maybe done with the green for the time being. We'll see if Knight maybe tries to go for a crossover or if he'll roll with the yellow. And he will roll with the yellow. Alright, this is just kind of I mean, sometimes with the full sends you see a lot of numbers early on, just kind of both players running it down here. We did see a double play earlier, but other than that, it's kind of been one of those usual starts where both players just kind of feel it out with the numbers.
Honestly, to me, that's my favorite part of the Uno game, despite it being to the spectators the most boring. Because we do have a little bit of asymmetry here. Aiko was the first one to switch after using some of the special cards in the previous color, which was green. But then again, at least because he is one of the rookies that joined in the same tournament when I did, I do know that he is also likes to balance out his hand. So you don't actually know if he's out on green or not. So this is gonna be interesting for sure. The direction who is actually going to switch the color again, once again being Aiko, we don't know.
We do know the next switch is Aiko here, going in the red, but yeah, I mean, you kind of bring up a good point there with some players. Definitely, there's a lot of different styles here. Some people just kind of like to run it down and then get the switch. Some people like to leave some a little open, try to bait people thinking they're done, and then kind of have some left over when someone tries to go for a switch there. So, okay, there is a 4-card run there from Aiko. Gonna throw a +2 in the middle of that. Knight up to 11, Aiko down to 4, really looking to create some separation here.
Feel like we've seen that at least in a couple of games this set already. You know, Aiko taking a lead and Knight clawing back. We'll see if it's different this time.
Ooh, and that's gonna be a draw from Aiko. That's not quite what he was hoping for. Was hoping maybe for a different number there, because I mean it's interesting though because once switched the red and then switched back into yellow. Didn't have anything left from the yellow, but does get that switch to blue after one draw. So again, Aiko's playing a little bit dicey so far, but actually has the double blue 9 to prevent the crossover. Does Nightwalker stick with the blue, or does he got one more 9 up his sleeve? No more 9s there, but does have a +2, so gonna make it hurt a little bit for Aiko, but onto the blue. Close game once again.
Yeah, you do raise a good point. I'm wondering if Aiko's hand was quite number heavy at the time because finishing out the yellow at the time before having to draw, it felt like, that red and yellow in his hand lined up really well, and that he was just hoping that any of his numbers would hit from the next card that Nightwalker played. So, very interesting to see that we actually do stick to blue.
Well, Knight's down a 2 here, and it's gonna be decision time for Aiko once again. Really does not want this to be 4-1. Also just depends on what Aiko even has left in his hand, so gonna have to figure out what he wants to do here. And it's gonna go for the +4. That is his first +4 of the series. And I think he was using that because I think he was fearing that a +4 was coming from Knight, and that would have ended it. So playing a little defense on that one to go back into the yellow, which again, it's interesting because hasn't really had too much yellow there. So I'm gonna be curious if he maybe goes for a quick switch here.
He did get hit with a +2 at one point, so the general composition of the can might have changed in the meantime. We do not know.
Yeah. Gonna be another draw there, and Knight is running this yellow. Man, that did not go the way that Knight Aiko was hoping for there, as Knight back down to 2 once again.
If we were afraid of a wild +4 before, we are definitely afraid of it now with only 2 cards left for Knight.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think for Aiko, that was just not that did not turn out to be the right color there to use that +4 on, because it seemed like Knight just had a bunch of yellow there, and then was able to get the switch of the red and then just kind of seal it on that one. So yeah, it has been a bit of a frustrating one for Aiko here. It does have the game 6 call, but it's gonna have a lot of ground to make up here if he wants to win this series.
Syntax catching some strays here in the chat.
Yeah, unfortunately, Syntax has at times cursed people with his predictions, so Aiko a little bit frustrated because Syntax in his quick pick, because this was a pop-up game, ended up going with Aiko to win this one, and it is not panned out well so far here. Alright, so once we start game 6, Aiko gonna go with 8, but we'll see what Knight says here. No power plays used yet, so I think for Knight maybe looking to use it the old-fashioned way, but for Aiko, gonna be curious to see how it goes for him, because down 4-1 here, and depending on the situation, may use it in a more variable way to try and keep himself alive, and or maybe try to hold on to it. We'll see. That's going to be another factor that Aiko's going to have to think through now, which is going to also kind of makes it harder in some ways.
I love that you mentioned at the start of the stream. I remember now when you mentioned power plays that, oh, we'll get to those later. They'll be important. But now we're 5 games down. None happened.
Well, we are at the later portion of this series, though, so I don't think I spoke any lies yet, but we'll see. I feel good because the cards have been playing really well. My favorite today, but I'll keep my best till I win. All right, well, game 5, 8 cards start here. Aiko looking to,
6. Yeah.
or Aiko
Uh,
looking to keep himself alive in this tournament here. Green 3 to start this one off. Green 3. Make it a green 8 now for Aiko. Yeah, for Aiko, I mean, absolutely needs to get off to a good start in this game here. And that's not a bad start for Aiko to have. Knight with no green off that start. And self ditto there, so trying to force another draw out of Nightwalker.
You
And
know,
will.
not a big fan of dittos generally, but if there is a time to ditto, yeah, that that would be it. In fact,
Yeah, because in these situations, you're forcing another draw unless they got a top deck either on either the 8 or the colors. So um, usually a wise call to go for that here as Knight gonna or Aiko gonna play their third green here. We'll see if Knight goes for gets a switch here or if it's gonna be another draw out of him. Gonna be another draw, and now Aiko's out as well. And yeah, it looks like I got an early draw city going here. So, well, there we go. Well, never mind. We broke it. Yellow 4. Aiko able to get going again. Knight looking to finally begin this game. But yeah, we're looking at a 3-color game here for the moment here. Don't expect any of the green to pop up. And +2. So Knight trying to do some work to bring it back a little bit after falling behind early. Yeah, coach is gonna keep it cool with their numbers. And another switch from Nightwalker gonna go in the red now. Ooh, that's a big chain there for Aiko, and this is a very eerily similar position as we were in game 1. Aiko down to 2, Nightwalker up to 20. Could Nightwalker repeat history and to make it 2 in a row where he makes it back from 20 cards down?
I don't remember since joining the league seeing a series where somebody came back from 2 20+ card comebacks. How commonly do you actually see this in your experience?
Not very common, so that would be interesting. And it'd be 2 20 card comebacks, so it'd be the minimum amount both times, but Aiko drawing there, and I mean, again, it's kind of interesting because he went for that move again after it ultimately kind of didn't pan out his way in game 1, and at the moment it is not panning out his way so far here, but there's still some time.
Nightwalker is brewing up a bit of a type.
Gonna be a switch into the red. And Aiko is still drawing. Doesn't have any red, doesn't have any green. Does get the top deck red there, but it's not a great spot for Aiko to be in as we speak. Yeah, because Knight is just at the moment having his way, but that's the opening Aiko needed getting into that blue, and I feel like blue is the color Aiko is going to thrive on here, so we'll see what Knight does. May have a counter to this, and yeah, there you go. Gets out of blue. he's not feeling the color, and AiCo gonna have to draw.
I'd say probably more about icing Aiko out than actually not, playing something. Considering Knight was at 12 cards at the time after the switch, but
AiCo
we may not
drawing
know.
again. This
Possible
is
not to have any blue in 12 cards.
I mean, this has been not what not AiCo has wanted to see at all. Because I mean, I think it's in 3 different colors he's drawn on. So I mean, I feel like that's kind of reinforcing the fact that he's looking for that blue and just has not been able to find it.
He has been getting top decks here and there and dittos and stuff, but now the question remains, how much of this has just been draws pouring him more into blue, and how much has he been gotten from other colors that he's been iced out on? And in the meantime, he also picks up another 6 cards because, you know, I guess the draws weren't enough.
Yeah, and I think AiCo is starting to lose it here. I don't think he is loving what he got from that +6 based off those comments. Yeah.
Some public information, or maybe it's a fib. We do not know.
I think the composure is starting to fall apart here, but we'll see. But yeah, Knight has just kind of had his way, um, for a good chunk of this series with the colors. Has not been afraid to make the switches when he needs to, and I mean, at the moment, as it looks right now, looking to keep this running down and secure this one here.
Actually, interested to pick your brain on this. If you would look at stats right now, the difference of 3 wild +4s and 2 wilds in favor of Nightwalker, compared to the lead and +2s, skips, and reverses that Aiko had. Do you think it is comparable, or do we think that wild +4s are pulling ahead?
We'll see. I mean, the game is looking to end up here right now as Nightwalker does go for the power play. 2 skips and a wild, and then a +4 to finish to kind of put some salt on the wound there. But yeah, that is just a frustrating way for AiCo to go out there. As Nightwalker continues his quest to try and win this tournament 2 times, which would be pretty crazy because the first when it happened in 2024, it was very similar circumstances, but yeah, now for Nightwalker, moving on to the final four once again. Yeah, a 5-1 on the +4s there, definitely gonna hurt there. AiCo actually had the event actually still holds on to the advantage of the +2s, but that does end up being a little bit closer at the end of this series. But yeah, we'll ask some quick questions for Knight because I don't know what Knight's availability is because it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy availability. Okay, yeah, let me clarify that because I don't think yes is a more direct answer. But yeah, I mean, Lavina, as I'm just kind of writing this out for Nightwalker for some of his post game thoughts. I mean, just kind of any takeaways from that, anything you saw from that, and definitely a rough result for AiCo there, but Nightwalker gonna take it 5-1.
I mean, commiserations to Aiko in the sense of, yeah, sometimes cards don't fall your way. There's no number efficiency, and even when you're nuking your opponent with a bunch of draws, it doesn't work out. But despite the, I would say, slight ammo advantage that might not even tell the entire story of the game in terms of what Nightwalker had, I still believe that he kept his composure really well, and 2 20-card comebacks, you can't really be mad at that all that much. So I leave the booth and the reffing quite impressed, and looking at potentially one of the favorites to win the tournament. just to note, games 1 and 6 are 20-card comeback.
Yes, got a 20-card comeback sandwich there for that series, so interesting how that one works out there. But yeah, for night, back in the Final Four for the first time since your tournament victory in 2024. This tournament just seemed to be your groove. How are you feeling following the victory here and now waiting your opponent in the Final Four? Potential shot for a second career tournament win. So, Knight going back to the Final Four for the first time since his clutch showing in this tournament in 2024. We'll see if we see another one here in this one as he wins it in 6. Aiko, going to you. I mean, we definitely saw it on the table. A very frustrating way that series ended there. But just kind of any immediate thoughts on what went wrong and just kind of overall thoughts from this tournament here as likely that you'll be in the playoffs here, but where you start remains to be seen. Just kind of any takeaways from this match here and the run of this tournament.
Yeah, I'm fuming. Not really thrilled that that happened. I mean, I really only think there were like 2 or 3 small things in some of the games that I regretted, and I pretty much mentioned them as soon as I got to the game. You know, having that one extra blue card one game, not going to yellow before I pushed Knight back on that first 20 card comeback. These are small things that realistically I would have still been put in a very awkward position, and I don't realistically believe I would have had the means to come back from either way, regardless. The CSM won't speak for it, but I really do think the cards just did not line up for me. And I mean, when you're iced out on one color and keep drawing nothing but that color until you have about 6 cards of that color and can't get into it, and then you draw 6 cards and they're all number cards with nothing to come back from, it kind of tells you a message. So yeah, I mean, I'm really frustrated to be kind of ending this with both a set like that and with a with being just kind of riding this line of that LCQ D2 chip where I really wanted to get, you know, one more win to really lock in my odds there. But no discredit tonight. Absolutely navigated those hands wonderfully. I think this was absolutely more of the cards went against me than it did for Knight. But yeah, I'll be back in playoffs, and that'll be that. Really glad to have made a comeback at all, if anything, in this T4.
All right, thank you, Aiko. Tough way to go out, but still a good showing for you nonetheless, making it back to the regional finals. We'll see how the playoffs go for you here. As gonna wrap things up here. There's your updated bracket. Nightwalker in the win, moving on to the final four. First player to lock their spot into the final four. We do not have the final four bracket because, as I mentioned, this was a pop-up stream because the scheduling did not work for this match. So when we have our second regional final stream, that the final four bracket will be set then. So we'll get all the glory of that once we get there. But Nightwalker, first player to confirm their spot in the Final Four, looking to get 2 tournament wins in his career, and both happening in this raid tournament. So we'll see if he can get it done. Wins at 5-1, but I'll do it for this stream. Thank you all for watching. Off stream, we got one more match in the round of 16. I know this has been a bit of a weird schedule here, but one more match in the round of 16 coming up tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Going to be between Sky and Mascot for the final spot in the regional finals. We'll see who gets to win there, but until then, I'm G-Man on behalf of the Amarillo team, including myself, my referee and co-commentator Lavina, who I want to thank for popping in on very short notice. Both our players and everyone who came out to watch the stream. Thanks for watching. Congrats to Nightwalker on the victory. We will see you. We'll see you either tomorrow or Sunday for more regional final action for Jazz July. But we also got some D1 coverage coming up soon. As well as another stream for D1's Jet Set July in about an hour, which I will be walking you through the action on that one there. That match will be between Christian Tago and Julio Caesar. So if you want to stick around and watch that, make sure to do so. Should be a good match there in an 8v9. But until then, I'm G-Man, and we will see you all next time for some more Uno action. Take care. Have a good one.